The shorthanded Trojans edge out Arizona to improve to 7-1. Caleb Williams has another standout performance, and the defensive struggles continue. We'll talk about all of that and more on this week's Trojan Game Review. Hey guys, welcome into this week's game review. That was a crazy Pac-12 game. That is the best way I can describe it. We really had it all in this one. Crazy offensive numbers, one-handed touchdown receptions, some of the worst officiating I've ever seen. USC had a bunch of players out, including their two top pass catchers in Jordan Addison and Mario Williams. And the offense really didn't miss a beat. There were some struggles on the defensive side of the ball that we'll get into. But before we get into the video, my basketball season preview will be out on Thursday. So make sure to check that out if you're interested. Alright, now let's dive into this game, and as always, we'll start with the offense. When you are down players like Jordan Addison, Mario Williams, and Andrew Voorhees, you need your depth pieces to really step up and make a big impact. And that is exactly what we saw on Saturday night. We saw Kyle Ford have a huge game. We saw Taj Washington have a huge game. We saw the first start of Mason Murphy's career, and he played very well outside of that big holding call. But the main story coming out of this one was the play of Caleb Williams. Coming out of the Washington State game, I thought Caleb was playing well, but I didn't feel like he was playing at that Heisman All-American level. But the last two times we have seen Caleb, both against Utah and now Arizona, he looks like the best quarterback in the nation. When Caleb is playing like this, it doesn't matter who the receivers are. He is elevating the play of everyone around him. He's seeing the field well, getting everyone involved. He's still not turning the ball over. Only having one interception up to this point is crazy. Caleb went 31 of 45 for 411 yards and 5 touchdowns. He is really coming into form in the most important stretch of USC's schedule, which is great to see. Travis Dye had the most under-the-radar 113-yard performance I think I've ever seen. He had another phenomenal game pass blocking as well. Austin Jones got back into the rotation with 5 carries for 27 yards. Rayleigh Brown caught a touchdown out of the backfield early in this game. When that happened, I really thought he was going to have a huge day, but he didn't really see the field again after that. Taj Washington and Kyle Ford led the receivers in this game. We also saw nice contributions from Kyron Hudson, Terrell Bynum, Brendan Rice, Michael Jackson, and CJ Williams. It was great seeing Kyle Ford have a career day. He's been at SC for a while now. He hasn't complained about his lack of playing time. He didn't transfer. He kept working hard and stuck it out, and it was great to see him go off in this game. This was also a great performance by this USC offensive line. And like I said earlier, Andrew Voorhees was not available in this game, so we saw a completely shuffled USC O-line. Bobby Haskins got the start at left tackle. Justin Dedich slid over to left guard. Brett Nealon lined up at center. Jonah Monheim moved from right tackle to right guard. And like I mentioned earlier, we saw the first career start from Mason Murphy at the right tackle position. I was very impressed with what I saw from Mason. He's comfortable out in space. He was doing a great job in the run game. His size immediately stands out when you see him out there. He's listed at 6'6", 300 pounds, and he looks every bit that size. So a very bright future for Mason, and an overall great day from this offense. Hopefully the guys that are hurt can continue to rest so they're fully healthy for the UCLA game. Now, talking about this USC defense, when you look at the box score in this one, it looks real ugly for the Trojans. Giving up 543 yards of total offense is definitely not ideal. However, there were some positives that I'd like to talk about. First one being, how good did Bryson Shaw look? He was out there diagnosing plays, he was tackling well, he made a great play for his first interception as a Trojan. It's great to see him start to come on at this point in the season. His size is a nice addition to that secondary, and this defense has a really bad tendency of being out of position and completely biting on play action. So it's nice to have a steady presence back there who isn't caught out of position all the time. I also want to talk about Mekhi Blackmon because he's been one of the most important players on either side of the ball this season. He played great in this game as well. Arizona tested him one-on-one in the red zone on a fade to T-Mac, and Mekhi absolutely locked him down. Having a veteran cover corner like Mekhi Blackmon is such a big asset for this USC defense. Now with both Eric Gentry and Raylan Goforth being out and going up against a very athletic pass-heavy team like Arizona, it seemed like a prime opportunity for Rajon Davis to get onto the field, but he didn't get one defensive snap, so I really have no idea what it's going to take for him to get onto the field. But continuing on with the standouts, Nick Figueroa continues to have great performances. I don't know why they dropped him into coverage on that broken play that Arizona hit, but he had a sack in this one and was consistently getting pressure. The entire defensive line actually had a pretty good day overall. Jaden DeLora just happens to be one of the slipperiest quarterbacks in the entire country. My honest overall takeaway from the defense is that this defense is already at a major deficit in terms of talent, and when you take away Eric Gentry, it is really apparent. And guys, don't lose sight of the fact that the entire offseason conversation revolving around this defense was that we weren't going to be able to stop stop anybody. This defense is a work in progress, but we all expected it to be a work in progress. Bottom line is this defense needs to get healthy and work on finishing sacks because they should have had a lot more than they did on Saturday night. Alright, now just some final thoughts. I see a lot of USC fans unhappy with this game, and it's crazy to me that so many people have already forgotten where we're coming from. We were 4-8 last year, guys. Half of the roster had to leave in the offseason. This is a team that had to be completely rebuilt from the ground up. Don't lose sight of that fact when you're calling for coaches to be fired. 7-1 is a great place to be right now. 2 of the easier opponents on our schedule are coming up, and they're both at home. So we're in prime position to be 9-1 going into that showdown against UCLA. We gotta keep winning games, gotta keep getting healthy. But that'll do it for this week's game review. I apologize for the shorter video, I'm still fighting off the flu. But thank you all so much for listening. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Fight on.